Astronaut Scott Kelly is back on Earth after spending nearly a year in space.
Such a cool sight, right? As Kelly touches
awesome.
down in Kazakhstan on Tuesday night. He spent more time in space than any other American. Actually grew a couple inches when he got back onto Earth. During his time in orbit, Kelly carried out some experiments on the effects of long-duration trips in space, because eventually we want to send people to Mars, and guess what? It takes a long time to get to Mars, so we need to know what happens to the human body. Heather took on this good question this week, which I think is a brilliant question. How many people around the world have ever gone to space?
Right, and it's a good question because if you talk to our parents, they knew everything about the space program because it was a really huge deal then.
You could name every astronaut.
Right.
They were the rock stars of that time.
I would think it's only been a few dozen.
You would think, right?
It just
I was
seems like such a
like
crazy
100 or
thing.
so.
Yeah, 550.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, most of them have been what you would consider your typical astronauts, the folks with the 2 years of training, and a lot of them have been Americans. But there have been some others who've had some space tourists.
Okay.
A handful of them.
How do we define space?
Space is 60 miles above the Earth's surface.
Okay, so you wouldn't even need to go all the way to space.
you don't need to
just
go all
to
the way to
60
the moon.
miles and flop back down.
Good enough.
In fact,
Check.
we
You're
have not been outside of the Earth's orbit since 1972 when we last
crazy.
went to the moon, isn't it?
No way.
Yes.
Okay.
So they've also had a couple of engineers, but here's another thing they've had is maybe a half dozen or so Air Force pilots that are considered astronauts now because they have their X-15 rockets have been jets have been able to go up there too.
So if Richard Branson gets the space ride
if he
going,
does,
you could be an astronaut.
You could technically get your astronaut wings, but with those trips, you're just kind of going up there for a little bit, and you're coming right back down.
550 is, I think that's a low number.
Do you think
I
it's
really
low?
do.
Means
When you
it's
think about the
1969.
cosmonauts that have gone up
Yeah.
there, and you think of a space shuttle mission has 7, I think, astronauts on it. So.
But now we just go to the International Space Station.
suppose
So
so.
here's the thing: how many people are in space at this exact moment?
3.
Yep, 3.
I had to think about that. 'Cause you think about who comes out.
Yeah,
and, you know.
so 2 days ago it was 6. 3 of them came home. Now it's 3, and 3 more will go up in probably 2 weeks or so.
Cool. So when you meet an astronaut, you are in rare
you're
company.
It is so
elite
cool to meet
club.
an astronaut.